little podcast. It's April. I'm excited to have my friends here. Today we are discussing For the Love of Awareness. April is Parkinson's Awareness Month, and I have Heather and Carrie here to talk about the disease, to talk about their experience with it, and tell us what we can do to help. So hi, welcome.
Hi.
Yay, let me see your shirts. Keep it moving with Marna. Yay. So first, ladies, my dear friends, tell me a little bit about Parkinson's.
Parkinson's is a chronic degenerative disease that affects both cognitive and motor skills. And it's a disease that presents very differently from individual to individual, which is, I think, part of what makes it such a hard disease to treat and, deal with for both those who are diagnosed and families that have family members that are diagnosed with the disease.
Right. I know it's really prevalent. I read that 60,000 people a year are diagnosed, and that's alarming. And then I just kind of did like who are my friends and families that have dealt with this? And, you are my core group. And then I my best friend that I grew up with, and then my college roommate, all had mothers diagnosed, which seems really small to me that I have so many people in my little circle.
Yeah, I mean, I know our grandfather had it, and it's actually not my mom's biological grandfather. It was her step grandfather, so no DNA link there. There is some genetic connection, but not strong. And I mean, I think when you talk to almost everyone,
there's someone in their family or a close family friend that has been affected by Parkinson's. The more you talk about it and the more you bring attention to it.
Right. So this has hit kind of your family. Your mother was diagnosed. Carrie, can you share with me, like, when did that happen? And now,
so
have you navigated?
Oddly enough, in 2015, my parents would come into my classroom to volunteer. And each week there was a little girl that my mom had an incredible bond with. But my mom would leave class and the little girl would say, "Why does Marna's hand shake like that?" And I'd say for the next 6 to 8 months, we kind of ignored that little tremor in her hand. And then we were actually getting our nails done, and our mom had a panic attack. And at that point, she ended up in the emergency room thinking, I don't know, I think we all thought it was maybe more heart or some of the more common diseases you think of. And sure enough, the panic attack was stemming from complications that went along with Parkinson's. For our mom, anxiety is a huge piece of the puzzle, which I'm sure we'll get more into, but that was kind of our awakening of, wow, there's more to this than we think. There's more to this than this small hand tremor that a 6-year-old brought our attention to.
She also had a fall, didn't she? And that's kind of what...
Yeah, there were a few small changes that we noticed. At this point, she was still very active, painting, walking, doing all the things that our parents did every day. So it was just kind of a couple weird triggering moments.
Right. So, I mean, I love that you guys are such a tight family, and, she had both of you and your brother and your dad to support. And that's the beauty of your family, right?
Yeah, sure.
But with that said, I mean, I know you guys have gone through kind of a roller coaster of understanding. And could you talk to us a little bit about that, like the navigation through like doctors and medication and what that's been?
It is so comprehensive because of the complexity of the symptoms. It's not just treating, you know, the physical ailments. And, you know, you read, I know everybody reads, you know, like that's where Keep It Moving came from, like increasing or maintaining your exercise levels with Parkinson's is so important. From a movement standpoint, Parkinson's patients also often experience stiffness, and there was, you know, specific physical therapies. So like I would say that's kind of where our treatment focused initially. The anxiety and now the cognitive have, I think, almost overtaken, I say. It's tough because, you know, it's hard for my mom to get around physically as well. But it's like it's the navigation of the symptoms as they come.
Right.
And what, you know, my mom has a fabulous neurologist now. Shout out to Dr. Andrew McGarry at Cooper. He's wonderful. He has helped us understand so much. But he says his words are that it's a dance, and it's constant adjustment of medicines and treatments to help patients as they progress through the disease. I could tell you want to say something.
No, I just was going to say it truly looks different for every Parkinson's patient. From the balance piece to the mobility piece to the cognitive piece. And every time we go to the wonderful Dr. McGarry, he's like, this is just different for everyone. So there's not a cookie cutter approach to Parkinson's. We started a lot, as Heather said, with the mobility piece, a program called BIG. So there are resources out there. It's just finding the resource that fits your family and your person affected.
Right. Wow. So you can't anticipate anything. It's really just, okay, now there's this, let me kind of explore.
I think like looking back, there are, you know, I feel like we've done a good job. I guess all of us, our personalities, my dad, my sister, I think we're always like thinking, oh, is there something else we could have done? I think one thing, you know, mom recently had a neuropsych exam that like, I think, and I don't think it's our fault or because COVID happened and like there are so many factors in this case. But I do think if that had been done sooner, there may have been some different neurological things that we could have done to prevent maybe some of this drastic progression we've seen with mom's Parkinson's dementia, or it could be Alzheimer's. They don't even know, you know, I mean, she's had an MRI, but there's nothing conclusive from the MRI that says this is exactly what's causing the changes in the brain. So there's just a lot of like unknown, and really treating the symptoms. And like Carrie said, like doing the best you can for your person.
Right.
And I think being abundantly cognizant of the mental health of your person as well. I think for our mom, that's been one of her most challenging pieces, because we are such an active family, because we are so close. Every time as she's progressed in a different stage, her challenge has been, I just want to do what I could do. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a hard transition for people, whether it's the mental piece or the physical piece. It's helping them navigate that part as well.
And I think, you know, Carrie bringing up mental health, you know, leads right to the concern we have for our dad. You know, mom is suffering. She's at the point now where, you know, she realizes, although she's almost progressed past the point where she doesn't even realize she's not the person that she was. That was like a really hard stage, probably like 8 to 10 months ago. It's progressed further since then. But now we just worry about our dad, because caregiving is hard, and it's mentally hard and physically hard. And, you know, there just aren't a lot of, you know, memory care isn't an option for us because my mom can't physically take care of herself. But yet we also don't feel like she's ready for skilled nursing and being away from us, because so much of her happiness is when we're all together being silly, like silly.
Right.
So, you know, I think there's a piece of that that just makes it really hard to make decisions about what care looks like. And we're certainly happy to talk to anyone at any point about our experiences, for sure.
I love that. And I know that care piece is a huge piece. Now you are having people come into the house and considering making some alterations for safety, right? Like that is all things that you're navigating through. To I guess I want to say, like, are there three like top resources that you would recommend for someone or, you know, that has a family member, loved one going through this? Like, is there a website that you would recommend or anything that comes to mind that a good place to start?
I think first and foremost for us is to really find a good neurologist from the beginning.
Okay.
Someone who has a Parkinson's background, not just a neurologist, but someone who really knows the practice of Parkinson's and what you're about to face.
That's great.
And then I would say, you know, certainly, you know, our efforts around fundraising have been toward the Michael J. Fox Foundation. There are a ton of resources online that talk to you about the disease and what to expect. Although we've talked about that it is a little bit hard because it is unpredictable and different for every person. But I would say, you know, recently what we've uncovered as it relates to like local support after a recent hospital stay that mom was in, there are, you know, lots of services that help you navigate bringing on additional care. So, you know, in-home PT, in-home nurse practitioners that can come to visit. Some of this is covered by insurance. Now, what's not covered is in-home, like personal care. That's not covered. And that was like a little bit of a hard pill to swallow. Thankfully, our parents have great health insurance, but it doesn't matter. Like that's not part of it. So there's like the medical care piece and definitely services that you can find to support that. But then finding those that can come into your home to provide respite for the caregiver and also help with personal care and bathing and all of that is, you know, there are some resources. We've recently used care.com. And one of our caregivers was a referral from a friend whose mom also had Parkinson's. You know, Shannon has been a great resource and support to us, just asking her questions. Then, you know, this new caregiver is from care.com, and we interviewed, and you know, she's lovely. So
I think my final piece would be as challenging as it is to talk about some of these things with your patient and the other caregivers, is to kind of have these conversations sooner than later, because with something like Parkinson's, you can't really project the path. And if you at least have more of a plan in place and know what is wanted, it really can help you get on track so that you're not 2 steps behind or 14 steps behind.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'll second that.
Yeah. So finally, what can we do to help with fundraising? What are you guys doing? Tell us a little bit about Keep It Moving with Marna.
So this has been, I think, Heather and I are both control freaks in our own special way.
Yes.
For me, the Keep It Moving, I think, was how I could manage some of this in the early stages. Okay, someday she's not going to be able to move. Who knows what that will look like for us down the road? But if I can motivate other people to keep it moving, and then maybe that will trickle down and we can keep her moving. So some of that is science-based, some of that is purely personal based, but this has now become a community effort for us for Parkinson's awareness. we have raised money, I think, since 2016 for the Michael J. Fox Foundation, whether it's been through our local communities, teams we coach, our friends and family. And I think, again, from the selfish perspective, knowing that people care and have, backed our Keep It Moving with Marna.
I think people want to do something. And
Yeah,
so
they do.
they want to support us. And
Yeah.
so it's been a way for us to like be able to bring people into our world that we don't like to ask for help, but it's a way for us to let people help and be a part of it. I think the other thing is, Carrie, obviously, crazy exercise, but for all of us, for all of our family, we know movement is such an important piece of Parkinson's, but it's also a very important piece of our mental health. And it's been something that, has been a silver lining, especially for Carrie and I. I am down at the shore a lot more now, so we get to run together and we can talk in the mornings and download what the latest thing is. But that goes for all of our family. Our brother's an athletic trainer, and my dad at 75 has, what day is he on? Number streak? He's on like 270 days of either riding his bike or running. So like it runs deep in our family. But it is such an important piece of Parkinson's, treating Parkinson's and keeping moving. And we just feel like we're doing our little part.
Yeah, you're doing a big part.
Yeah.
So, thank you. And yes, we do want to help and we want to support. And I know you did a little bit of a fundraising this past month, but in the month of April, can people donate to you? Is there a website, or how do we do that?
Yeah, we can certainly share with you like our team link for the month of April. We just did a gear sale because we love the idea of being able to wear what we're supporting. And again, others want to be a part of that. So
the Ocean City High School team, softball team that I coach, raises money throughout the month of April in our Play for Parkinsons games. So we can even share that link.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll do that. I can't thank you enough. I love you just so much and all that you're doing. And I love your mom and your family. So thank you for sharing and the resources you've provided and the offer to, help others. So
thanks, Tosh. We appreciate you and bringing the awareness to such a yucky disease. But talking about it actually helps. And so thanks for the opportunity.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tosh.
Love you.
5, 6, 5, 6, 7.